Okay everyone, so in this next lesson we will talk about the different file paths that we can use in HTML, or how we can go and organize our files inside of our document. I have already opened the two documentations here, the two resources that we usually use, so that you can read more about the topic. So we can see here the file path describes the location of a file in a website's folder structure. We can see here the file path examples given in the documentation that uses the image tag. In the first example, we have the picture.jpg file is located in the same folder as the current page. In the next example, we have the image source imagepicture.jpg that is located in the images folder in the current folder. For the next file path here, we have the picture.jpg file is located in the images folder at the root of the current web. For the next example here, we have the two dots and / and then the file name, which specifies that the file is located in the folder one level up from the current folder. We know that we have used the first example here and the second example here in our code editor. So if we go to our float property.html, we can see that we have the example 2 here, similar to our example here. And if we go to the index.html, we maximize the use of the first example inside of our image tags inside of our header logo box. Now if we go down here, it says that the file path will be describing the location of a file in a website's folder structure. It is used when linking to external files like web pages, images, style sheets, and JavaScripts. And we have what we call absolute file paths. You would see here that the image source example here has an absolute file path to an image picture that if we try to copy and open it up here in our browser, it will redirect us to an image that is located inside of the w3schools.com server. We can actually use this URL inside of our code editor, and we can try to replace the al.logo.png here. Let's save that. Now if we try to go back to our browser here and refresh, we can see that we were able to maximize the use of the picture.jpg here that is located inside of the website of the w3schools.com. So we didn't necessarily need to go and download this and then place it inside of our folder inside of our local machine, and instead we use an absolute path of the full URL to a file. Now if we go down here, we can see that we also have what we call relative paths, and relative paths points to a file relative to the current page. One of the keynotes to remember here is that the best practice is to use relative paths if possible, because it will allow your web pages to not be bound to your current base URL. This is also for all of your links to work on your computer localhost as well as on your current public domain and your future public domains. Now if we try to go and read through the MDN web docs, we can see here a website consists of many files, text content, code, style sheets, media content, and so on. When you're building a website, you need to assemble these files into a sensible structure on your local computer. Make sure that they can talk to one another and get all of your content looking right before you eventually upload them to a server. So dealing with files discusses some issues you should be aware of so you can set up a sensible file structure for your website. We can see here a question saying that where your website should be living inside of your computer. So it says here, when you are working on a website locally on your computer, we should be keeping all of the related files in a single folder that mirrors the published website's file structure on the server. This folder can live anywhere you like, but you should put it somewhere where you can easily find it, maybe on your desktop, in your home folder, or at the root of your hard drive. You can actually create a specific folder specifically made for your website projects. You can actually call it or name it web projects. So this is the directory from where you can store all of your website projects. So inside the first folder, create another folder to store your first website and call it test site or something that is more imaginative. So let me just show you here how I did it inside of my directory here. I actually place it inside of my drive D, and I have a rtech or rbsl dev tech folder here from where I have created all of the sections that I'm making for your course. We can see here that I also have a website projects folder from where I'm currently storing all of my files for some of the current projects that I'm working on. You can try to implement a naming convention, such as, for example, you make a version 1, version 2, version 3, and so on, or you can go and just for it to be easy for you to go and reference some of your projects that you've already built from the very beginning. So I want you to do that, and we'll be continuing in the next lesson after you're done with that.